it's Miss Dolores from Baldwin Borough Public Library. Welcome to Two Chapter Tuesday. Today we have a new book. It's called Teddy Mars, Almost a World Record Breaker. So if you have ever got a book out of the library or from maybe the Scholastic Book Fair, I know these are really popular at the Scholastic Book Fairs, the Guinness World Record books. This is just a picture of what the book looks like. This is the 2020 version. So the world record books are just anything and everything that you could think of, and they did, and the person that is in the book set the record for doing it either the most times or the most often, and you can read all kind of fun facts in this Guinness World Book of Records. And Teddy wants to set a world record in the worst way. He has a big family, a younger sibling and some older sisters, and he just wonders if this is ever going to happen for him, but he really wants to do it. So there aren't real chapters in this book. You can see it's divided into, I'll hold it closer, into like different sections, but they don't say chapters. So we're going to read maybe like, we'll see where we get like up to page 15 today, and then you can request this book from the library. You can either call us 412-885-2255 to request any books that you want, or you can go on to baldwinboroughlibrary.org, and you can go onto our catalog and you can see what's available, and you can order books that way, and then you can do curbside pickup and we'll bring it out to you. All right, so Teddy Mars, Almost a World Record Breaker, written by Molly B. Burnham. Let's see what happens to Teddy. September, my brother Jake. The day my brother climbed into the cat box was the day I knew my life would never be normal again. And that's saying something, because my life was not normal to begin with. But Jake, he's like the first time you open the Guinness Book of World Records. All you can do is think about it all day long. Even when your teacher hollers, "Teddy, it's the third day of school. Can you please say daydreaming until day 4? Strange but true, Mrs. Raffelli. I'm not daydreaming. I'm thinking about fingernails. And you'll be happy to know it's related to the math unit we're working on." I take her silence as a chance to explain. "You know Lee Redmond, the lady with the longest fingernails?" She looks blank, so I try to help her out. "You know, from the Guinness Book of World Records." She still looks blank. "Was this lady ever a kid?" "Mrs. Raffelli, you know the Guinness Book of World Records? Even my parents know the Guinness Book of World Records." "Yes, Teddy, I know the Guinness Book of World Records." "For you." So, all 10 of Lee Redmond's nails add up to 28 feet, 4.5 inches, which is long. It's got to be longer than our class rug and maybe taller than our walls. Before Mrs. Raffelli can respond, the new girl Viva pops up and says, "Let's measure it." She grabs the measuring tape we've been using and starts measuring the rug, and then the bunch of other kids start measuring 28 feet, 4.5 inches all over the room. It turns out Lee Redmond's nails are shorter than the distance from the sink to the door, longer than 12 desks in a row, and twice as long as the rug. Miss Raffelli looks straight at me, eyebrows raised as tall as the tallest roller coaster, 418 feet, and says, "You'd think after having 5 of the Mars kids, they'd give me a break. There are 2 other 4th grade teachers." She's right, of course. She's earned a break from my family, but for some reason no one else thinks so, which means, just like my 5 sisters before me, Miss Raffelli and I are stuck with each other for the year. At least she knows the Guinness Book of World Records. But going back to my original point, the stuff you see in that book does not get out of your head. Okay, this shows the teacher and how they're measuring 28 feet, 4.5 inches all over their classroom. Can you imagine fingernails that long? It's the same with Jake. Once you see your little brother curled up in a cat box, it's hard to picture him any other way. Okay, so that's the end of the first little segment, so we're going to go on. Lonnie. Lonnie is my best friend and is the smartest person I know. He wants to be a Jedi when he grows up. Clearly, he's smart enough to know they don't really exist, but he wants to be something like a Jedi. We've known each other since the first day of kindergarten when we pulled out matching Star Wars action figures. Mr. Munns told us no toys at school, but Lonnie was smart even when we were 5. He said, "Meet me at the art table. There aren't any rules about drawing." He was right, of course. For the rest of the year, we drew Wookiees, droids, Jedi Masters with lightsabers, and Star Wars stuff we made up, and Mr. Munns never said a word. Lonnie's mom still has all his old pictures. That's why I can remember them so well. My mom says that with 7 kids, she can't keep every picture we make. There aren't enough walls in the house. Record attempts 1, 2, and 3. Lonnie and I love Star Wars. There's no replacing that. But this summer, when I found the Guinness Book of World Records behind the sofa, well, I got seriously hooked. Of course, it's an old copy. My family doesn't buy anything new. No one knows how it got there. Grace tried to say it was hers, but my mom didn't go along with her this time. So I got to keep it, and I don't care how old the book is. It's awesome. Ever since then, I've been trying to break a world record of my own. So far, it has not been successful. Stuffing the most grapes in my mouth seemed good, but I only got to 10 before my cheeks hurt so much that I spit them out. Clearly, 10 grapes won't cut it. I thought I was on a roll with the most jumping jacks, but after 20 minutes, I got a stomach ache. And even though I seriously thought skateboarding down my banister would be cool, it seemed dumb once I got up there. The banister isn't that long, so I was pretty sure it wouldn't actually get me into the Guinness Book of World Records, and probably all it would do is break something. And now, Miss Raffelli says I can't bring the book to school anymore. Too distracting, she says. I admit, I say, when I found Gary Turner, the guy with the most clothespins clipped on his face, 159 of them, I was distracted. The book stays home, she says, and that's final. Viva's mind trick. Lonnie and I sit at our regular table in the lunchroom. We've been here since first grade when we got to pick our seats. It's the table in the corner, closest to the trash cans. We like to sit alone, and because of the trash cans, no one else likes to sit with us until this year. This year, Viva started at our school. She's the one who created the measuring debacle today, which somehow I got blamed for. On top of that, she's decided to sit at our table. She just sits here. I don't know why. There are plenty of seats all over the place, but she sits here. So far, she doesn't talk to us. She just eats. So long as it stays like that, I guess it doesn't matter. Lonnie, you won't believe this, I say as I bite into my sandwich. The bread is a little stale. Jake got lost yesterday. You lost Jake? He says, again? Who's Jake? Viva is leaning across the table, her sandwich frozen in midair, the only thing in the whole room that is not moving. Before I can stop Lonnie, he says, Teddy's little brother. Oh, great, I mutter to Lonnie. This is exactly what I do not want. I look at Viva. It's nothing. Come on, she says, losing a brother is something. It's really nothing, I say again. I think it's something, she says. There's no use, Teddy, Lonnie whispers. You can't fight her. She's like Yoda. She's got power. Viva may be new to our school, but Lonnie has her figured out. It's part of his Jedi training. I chew my sandwich. Viva stares at me, and I'd swear she's using the Jedi mind trick, except her hand isn't waving around. And more about the cat box. Okay, I say. Quit eyeballing me. I look at Lonnie and only Lonnie. So like I was saying, Jake disappeared. How old is Jake? Viva asks. I roll my eyes. 4. Explaining every detail of this story to a complete stranger is not what I planned or wanted. But somehow I am. Lonnie's got to be right. It's the Yoda in her. Were your parents worried, she asks. No, we knew he was somewhere in the house. Lonnie slurps his milk and says, they have 7 kids. They're not like normal parents. 7? I'm used to this response, but I still turn red. Go on, Lonnie says. We looked in all his usual hideouts. Viva interrupts. His usual hideouts? Lonnie explains, like the cabinets under the bed, in his closet, places like that. I ignored Viva's look of confusion. He was nowhere, but I went back into the kitchen because I had a feeling he was there, even though it already looked. That's when I noticed Smarty Pants. Who's Smarty Pants? Viva asks. Our cat, I say. She was standing just outside her cat box. What's a cat box? Viva asks. A cat's toilet, I say. You mean litter box. No, I mean cat box. That's what we call it. Is it the covered kind? Yes, I say. Can I please finish? Go ahead, she says, and bites her sandwich like I'm the one who's interrupting her. So there's Smarty Pants meowing at it. I was the only one in the kitchen, so I looked. In the litter box, she asks. In the cat box, I say. And there he was, curled up like a bird in a nest, snoring. Except birds can't snore, Lonnie says. Viva's eyes are big. How did he fit in a cat box? He's a contortionist, Lonnie explains. He's always liked small places, and he's small for his age. So what did you do? I called to my mom. What did your mom do? She said, it's a good thing I cleaned that out this morning, or Jake would be covered in poo. Lonnie laughs. Your mom is the best. Then what? Viva asked. She pulled him out. I take a bite of my sandwich. Do you have to eat meals with this brother of yours? It seems kind of gross. Actually, Jake eats in the cabinet with the pots and pans. Your parents let your little brother eat in a cabinet? The recess bell rings and we stand up, except for Viva, who looks at me and says, your family is different. Very different. My different family. Number 1, Sharon the singer, 17 years old. Give her a dirty, stinky sock and she'll make up a song about it and sing it everywhere for months. Of course, she'd never take a dirty, stinky sock from anyone. 2 and 3, Caitlin and Casey, the twins. They're 14. They are always together, and no one except us can tell them apart. 4, Maggie, the runner, age 13. Doesn't care which sport she plays so long as she can run, run, run. But she really likes soccer the most. Number 5, Grace, the lemon, age 12. With a name like Grace, you'd think she'd be nice, but she isn't. She's like a lemon, except at least with lemons, you can always add sugar. There isn't enough sugar in the world to make Grace sweet. I'm seriously not joking. Number 6, me, the boy, age 9 and 11 months old. I'll be 10 in 3 weeks. My birthday is October the 2nd. And number 7, Jake, the other boy. He's been around for 4 miserable years. My parents call him the surprise. I call him a pain. The kind I would have if I got in the Guinness Book of World Records for lifting 113 pounds, 15 ounces with my ear. That has got to be a pain. Not as much as my brother, but still a pain. My birthday list? 1, a new tent. You remember what Jake did to the old one, right? Okay, we're starting a new section. My family is like a tongue. Living in a big family is not easy. Being Stephen Taylor must not be easy either. He's the man with the longest tongue, 3.86 inches. The Guinness Book of World Records only measures the part that sticks out past your lips, so it might not sound long, but I measured my tongue and it only sticks out 1.3 inches. So you see 3.86 inches is long. Strange but true, there are similarities between a large family and a large tongue. Number 1, you know a large tongue must get in the way. I can honestly say that 5 sisters and a little brother get in the way. Number 2, the gross factor. A tongue is gross. A huge tongue is grosser. A huge family is the grossest. There's no privacy. I've seen things I would not repeat for all the soda in the world. Sure, if we were rich and lived in a mansion, it would be different. But try to find a little space of your own, a place no one else is, has been, or will be. It won't happen unless you're Jake. And a cat box doesn't make you want to puke. Really, I might as well search for the plank length, which according to the Guinness Book of World Records is the smallest unit of length in the universe. If the length were measured in centimeters, it would have a decimal point, then 34 zeros. And then finally, the number 1, like this. Okay, so in the book, it shows you what that number looks like right here. What I'm trying to say is I'm never going to find that, and I'm never going to find a place of my own. I don't actually have a third point for number 3, but Ms. Raffelli says we're supposed to think of 3 points to make in our essays, and she's a serious lady, so I'll have to think of a third one. New section, Grumpy Pigeon Man. A lot of days when I get home from school, I sneak into my backyard. If you knew Mr. Marnie, our next door neighbor, you'd sneak too. I call him Grumpy Pigeon Man, never to his face, because he's grumpy and he keeps pigeons. Not that I know anything about those pigeons, because the guy doesn't talk. He grunts, he groans, and he grumbles, pretty much about the noise my family makes and the trees in our backyard that drop leaves everywhere. The guy hates leaves. A chain link fence separates our yards, which means there's not much privacy, which means he can gripe as much as he wants. But it also means I can see his pigeons. Anyway, the pigeons have a special house of their own in his backyard, and every day, Grumpy Pigeon Man lets them fly around free. I mean, free up in the sky. They never scatter or fly away. They fly in a big circle. And then they always come home, just like a boomerang, okay? There's Grumpy Pigeon Man, his neighbor, and there's the pigeons. The pigeons are why I sneak outside. Watching them fly around is cool. Getting caught by Grumpy Pigeon Man is not, which is why I'm running back into my house right now. Anyway, I'd rather deal with anything more than Grumpy Pigeon Man. Actually, it's a tie between him and Jake. I still can't decide who is worse. My birthday list number 2. A new tent because Jake destroyed the old last summer. You do remember that, don't you? And number 2, a book about pigeons. Okay, we're going to stop there. That's page 16. Teddy Mars, Almost a World Record Breaker. Very funny book. You can read all about his big family and all about will he set a world record. So give us a call, 412-885-2255. We can hold this book and many other books for you, and you can just drive up and pick them up curbside. I hope you guys have a super week, and I will see you next Tuesday for another 2 Chapter Tuesday.